Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another Cave Divers React. My name is Gus.
I'm Woody.
And, somebody on the comments reminded me to remind you guys to like this video right at the beginning because I always do it at the end.
Oh, please
do.
That helps.
They were like, hey, I like this stuff before you even start reacting.
Yeah.
So remind people to like the video before they start reacting.
I'm glad they did that.
Please go ahead and like and subscribe.
Hey, by the way, I'm on a ton of caffeine. So those of you who didn't want me to talk a lot,
oh my God.
I'm going to explode today.
Well, today we have, funny that you mentioned the word explode.
Really?
Because we have an epic reenactment, an epic video
Yeah.
from a real situation from one of arguably the best divers that ever lived, Shek Exley. He's involved in this situation. You haven't seen
Respect.
this.
Like, just his name is respect.
Exactly. You haven't seen this video.
No.
At least I don't think. I hadn't seen it until somebody sent it to me and said, you guys should react to this video. I watched it. I cannot believe I've never seen this video before.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Let's watch it.
I'm like, we have to react to it immediately. So let's watch this video from Shek Exley. It's from a documentary or a movie about him, I guess. This is just an extract from the whole video.
All right.
But, yeah.
Fire it.
I did get him. I was so high, I thought I'd just take a look around the next bend while Shek was writing out our slate. Right then, I didn't think there was anything to worry about.
Cave exploring, by the way. Just writing stuff on slates.
Wait, can you stop it 1 second? Is this a reenactment?
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
the lights and the regulator and all that does look like it's from a long time ago.
Yeah. No, this is old school, but this is a movie about Shek Exley.
Okay, and by the way, I think his manifold just exploded. When I said stop, I told you.
That's right.
Okay, so
watch.
the manifold just exploded on the
other diver, not Shek Exley.
That's not Shek, that's somebody.
Shek's body.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Wow. This awesome noise all around, like the whole cave was falling in on me.
Wow.
Really cool. How they did this. Lower the volume a little bit.
Look at that. He doesn't have long. That air, I wonder how long before they're both drained.
I didn't know why or where the sound was coming from. I thought it was Shek. Then I saw he was okay. I realized it had to be me.
Oh. That's why you want to be able to reach those easily.
Shek hadn't heard the blow. I decided not to let him know in case he'd stress out and breathe faster.
So what had happened?
Wait.
The valve seat, my
Stop.
spare regulator.
You looked at me and I looked at you on that part where he said I decided not to let him know.
I mean, why?
Why? What, he doesn't want to disturb him because I'll go ahead and die, but I want to let him continue with the cave exploration? I wonder if that's real, by the way, because, these are reenactments, so that doesn't make sense that a diver would say, I don't want to let him know.
Well, I think he's gonna go into why a little bit further. Like this is another thing people say. It's like if you guys let the video play, you'll get an answer.
Okay.
I think he's about to talk about why he did that, but I mean, the only thing we have is the account, the eyewitness account. Of course, they might be exaggerating or whatever.
Yeah. I don't like to let the video play, by the way, and then find out the why because, you see, I like to react. So
of course.
I like them to see what would a natural question be at this point. Great.
Yeah.
Maybe the videos are going to explain it, and then we'll be like, you see, that is logical question as to why. The second thing, though, that I want to bring up is when he cuts off the manifold, he's still receiving air. He's still breathing. So I think the manifold is, I have to go look at what that's doing. I don't dive doubles, but I think that's possibly controlling the fact that it's breathing equally from both tanks.
Yeah, and it could be, again, let's watch a little bit more because he's about to explain what's going on.
Okay, because that confused me there.
Yeah. So Yeah. We don't know if the story is 100% true, but based on the accounts from the divers, this really happened.
All right, I'm going to try to let it roll.
All right.
In layman's terms, a tank is filled with air under great pressure, which is too much for your lungs to take in. They'd burst. So there's two valves that reduce that pressure. The first one is in the neck of the tank. The second is in your mouth. Of course, you have double tanks, you have two regulators. The seal in my spare regulator disintegrated. And I lost the air in both tanks because they were manifolded together.
There you go.
Ken thought it must have been mine. See, when you're down that far, sound carries. And you're disoriented because of all the nitrogen in your blood.
By the time I realized the problem wasn't Sheck's, I only had a few minutes of air left.
Can you stop it? So, it's interesting what they said. They were disoriented because of all the nitrogen in your blood. Well, they're talking about being narked.
Yep.
That's what that means. Not necessarily because of the nitrogen in your blood, but the nitrogen becomes narcotic under pressure. And I guess they were at a depth where they were breathing regular air such that they were narked.
Right.
I want everybody out there who isn't a diver to understand that. That's what they mean. What happens is, we have a lot of non-divers that are subscribers.
Yep.
When you get to a certain depth, and there's no definitive answer on this, they say somewhere after 60 feet, most people feel it at 100 feet, you get narked from the air that you're breathing. Most of it comes from nitrogen in the air, but even oxygen. We're breathing 21% oxygen right now. The rest is made up of nitrogen and maybe a little bit of other gases. So I think that was worthy of an explanation. That's why he said that. It's not definite, everybody. You may not get narked after 60 feet. But after 100 feet, most people feel this level of calmness and possible confusion. That's what they're talking about.
Yep.
Then you would bring in an alternative gas, namely helium, and you wouldn't feel that. Okay, let it roll.
I wonder how he's breathing, though. I assume he isolated one of the tanks? The tank that didn't have the backup?
I think he isolated the regulator that exploded.
Hell, I'm gonna die, and he's drawn a map.
He's in
Go.
drawing mode,
Let's get out of here.
mapping the cave. It's like, dude.
By the
go.
way, they're flutter kicking, and the cave's not silting out, so they're up high, I guess. Look at that. That's not frog kicking.
Right. Remember, these
it's a
are
reenactment,
actors.
but still, man, I don't know.
Finally, my air was almost out, and I figured he might be interested.
Ken has been known to play the odd practical joke. When he held up his
Out.
gauge, I thought, you're kidding, right?
No.
Ken, this isn't funny. Ken was always joking. But he wasn't joking this time. I could see it in his eyes.
Hey, can you stop it? I'm sorry. I have to comment. I don't really care. You know, subscribers that get mad at me for stopping it. These are reaction videos. I'm going to react because this is a very important point, a really important point.
Yeah.
When it comes to out of air, there's never a joke. Like, that's not an item you joke about underwater, ever, because we don't want what just happened to occur, where your buddy is like, well, maybe he's joking. That's not a joke. They say that most people, when you give the out of air signal, most divers, after 3 seconds, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, may start to breathe again and may actually suck in water. So this is not a joking item. The other thing that's not a joking item is this: thumbs up. Like, we're leaving. That means thumb the dive and we're out of here. So that's weird. I don't know if it's just in the reenactment, but no diver should ever take and out of air, especially when you show the gauge as even a possibility of a joke. I mean, I would immediately be giving that guy a regulator. Okay.
That's right.
I just think that's extremely important for divers out there to be aware of. Not a joking item. Okay, go ahead.
Especially inside a cave.
No, I mean, zero. The second they do that, man, I'm the regulator. It's got to be a reaction.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of leaving him?
No. You don't think like that.
Well, unless you're Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
We were 3/4 of a mile.
Oh, we're going to
from
get
the
beat up for that.
surface. No chance of a rescue. At least 1,500 feet from the reserve tanks.
That's
But
far.
we had 2 regulators. We could both breathe from my tank. As long as it lasted.
Okay, stop for a second.
We got to talk about this.
We have to talk about 2 things. One, 1,500 feet from the reserve tank. So what that means is in the cave, they staged, presumably, another tank with a regulator on it. They tied it off so that if this happened, they can get to that tank and breathe that tank for the rest of the way out. The second thing is we're going to assume that this cave is a spring and not a siphon. What does that mean? I only dive, Gus only dives caves that are springs, which means the water is flowing out of the cave so that your exit is faster because you have the water flowing out of the cave. So it's almost like a current in the cave, a flow taking you out of the cave. We calculate our gas reserve such that we assume that we're coming out of the cave at about 75 feet per minute. Going into the cave, we calculated at 50 feet a minute because we're going against the flow. Coming out, 75 feet a minute. So everybody do the math. 75 feet a minute, they have to go 1,500 feet. That's 20 minutes to get to this reserve tank. If they're able to have a continual 75 feet a minute. Are they going through restrictions? Do they have to slow down at any point? They got to get there in 20 minutes. They got to have enough gas between the gas he's running out of and Sheck's gas to share air in 20 minutes to get to that reserve tank. Now, I'm reacting. I haven't seen anything.
Right.
But I want you to understand the situation they're facing right here.
The other cool part that I think they got right is how you buddy breathe inside a cave, which is you go in single file. So you can see they're swimming now one behind the other, and that's why we carry super long hoses, so 2 meters long or 7-foot hoses, so we can pass that to our buddy. They can swim in front of you. And then you're swimming right behind them and you go single file because there might be restrictions where you can't go side by side or whatever.
Good point. And are they in the right position here? I can't tell who's in the front and who's in the back. But
yeah. So I think Sheck, the guy playing Sheck, is in the back with the double yellow lights on the helmet.
Good.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't overly concerned. I even thought about clipping the Spanish slate back on as we rejoined the blue line.
I was in shock. I just held my breath and swam.
Well,
this guy's still like...
I have to react. I'm sorry. God, you can't put that kind of a comment in front of me.
All right.
You can't, right?
What is
and
it?
You know what the comment is.
Don't drink coffee next time.
You can't say, I just held my breath and swam.
Right.
If you're a diver. What's the number one rule of diving?
Yeah, you never hold your breath.
There's no way he can hold his breath. Now, maybe he did try to even not recommended skip breathe where he's not taking the same amount of breaths. But listen, breathe normal. Stay calm. That's the number one rule if you have any situation, whether it's in a cave or not, especially in a cave. And calm down. Try your best to calm down and just breathe normally and act normal. Don't even start bolting out. Easy to say, hard to do.
Right.
I need more coffee.
You were both close to death, but you stopped to put back the Spanish slate?
Hell yes. We might be dead. We want people to know we beat the Italians and the Spanish.
The adrenaline's flowing. Nothing exists.
USA.
You
USA.
dive. We were close to the line.
Dive,
Didn't
but
take
we'll
any
win.
extra effort.
Except that you refused.
They were
to
close
look
to
at
the
pressure
line.
Gauge.
Good.
I was scared.
They wouldn't look at their pressure gauge. Like,
We were both
I'm not
getting
even
worried.
looking. Keep swimming. Keep
I
swimming.
started to skip every other breath. to
There you go.
preserve air.
That's what I just
My
said.
head felt like it would explode from the CO2 buildup
Exactly.
in my blood.
So
And we did get a question about this. They said, is CO2 hit a thing on open circuit?
Yes.
Yes. If you skip breathing,
because you're
you can
not
get CO2.
because hold on. And I'm a big on the why.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you are inhaling, you're taking in fresh air. When you're exhaling out the oxygen that you didn't metabolize, maybe about 16%, but you're also off-gassing CO2.
that's right.
If you skip breathe, you're holding in more of that CO2, and it starts to really give you a headache. I've done this before, where I'm trying to reserve air on open circuit, and man, you feel like, you just start to get this terrible headache.
Yeah, and that's something that we tell new divers, right? They start skip breathing because they want to extend their gas. Yeah. But then what you do is you're holding your breath constantly, and then you're having to hyperventilate to catch up because you've been, holding on to that CO2, which is what causes the urge to breathe.
And it stays that headache after you
I
dive.
finally dropped the spare regulator and used up the very last of my air. Couldn't let Sheck die because of me. But again, it looked like that's...
He's holding his breath this whole time
Both our
to the
tanks
tank.
emptied about the same time. We pushed those last yards. I don't know if my heart was pounding from holding my breath or from the relief at seeing the second stage tanks.
Wow.
So you just made it. You were lucky.
Lucky, but not home and dry. You see, skip breathing allows carbon dioxide to build up in your blood.
Definitely.
I, for one, was close to a CO2 blackout. I could feel it. I knew I'd have to stay there for a good few minutes to flush out the CO2.
While using up precious air in our stage tanks.
This is well done.
Yeah.
By the time we were underway again, I knew things were looking serious.
I don't know how far they have to go, by the way.
Then it really sank in. We might just die in there. Every time I looked at my gauge, it seemed an ever more likely scenario.
They're just holding their tanks.
Of course, that didn't stop you from clipping on the Italian slate.
Running on autopilot, believe me. My air ran out as I saw the first stage tanks. All my energy was focused on one thought. Get out. Get out. Grab that fresh tank and go. I hardly stopped to unclip it from the line and shove the regulator in my mouth before I was off.
Can you stop it 1 second? So, I think there's a lot of people that are not cave divers and may not even be divers. So I'm commenting to you. You see, when we cave dive, especially, obviously you can't just go up. So we have to stage air. This is a huge part of your cave dive training. How much air and at what points in the cave do you need to clip off other air to follow what's known as the rule of thirds? So that basically you are only going to breathe 1/3 of your air on the way in. Now, on a rebreather, you assume that you're going to run out of air in the furthest part of the cave. So you still have to stage enough gas to get out of the cave as if you're on open circuit. That's how we plan how much gas do we need to clip off stage on the way into the cave. We make a calculation based upon our surface air consumption rate, how much we breathe, so we need to know that, and time and distance. Yep. Will we have enough air? Now, one other thing. This is important. Not only do we do that, what do we do with our sac rate when we put it into the computer to calculate how much air we need?
At least double it.
We at least double it. Because guess what? You think you're going to be breathing at a normal rate when you have a real incident like this? Or maybe you have a CO2 hit and you're going to be breathing faster. I'm saying all that because I want everybody to be educated by these videos. That's why you have to clip off this air and calculate how much you need. It's critical, as if you have an emergency.
But also, don't get scared like about diving. This is very advanced diving. Like, you know, when people learn how to dive, you're not staging tanks and doing this stuff. You have to work hard to get to a point where you're actually doing this.
As my tank ran dry.
So he just dropped the tank. Swims, no tank right now. No air.
Taking the wrong one. My
air is off.
Tank, the
Gone.
one I'd wedged under a rock.
Oh, man.
If he started breathing hard, he'd run short of air again.
Oh.
You see, a cave dive like this is like setting up a long line of dominoes.
Perfect.
One problem knocks you off balance, your timing goes, and every step of the way you're wrong. You knock over the first domino, the entire line begins to collapse, one after another.
You have a problem, cause another problem, and then another problem, and it just, yeah.
My head was pounding with the CO2.
That's brutal.
Boom, boom. I couldn't believe it when my gauge read nearly empty.
Again?
Extra tanks were really slowing me down.
So here's what happened. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I'm confused a little bit.
So then again, I'm not an open circuit cave diver. I'm just a rebreather cave diver. But what I've seen from open circuit cave diving is that the tanks you're staging, in some cases, you're breathing them, right? So you're breathing a tank on the way in, and then they drop the full one, and then the one that they were breathing in on the way in too. So when Sheck came back, because he was desperate, CO2, he was desperate, he grabbed the one that they had already been breathing in on the way in instead of the full tank. So as he's swimming to the next set of stage tanks, because he started with like a half-empty tank, he's running out of air again. So this guy, the body behind, grabbed the two full tanks. He's swimming with a full tank and the other full tank because he knows Sheck is going to run out of air. And that's what Sheck is saying. He's like, I can't believe that I'm almost out of air. Like, what's going on? Because he grabbed a tank that wasn't full. He made a mistake.
Wow.
All I could do was push for the decompression point, and the tanks Dennis and Rob had left, and pray I could make it.
I mean, think about being in a position where your tank is, at that point,
there just
dangerous.
As I ran dry again. I grabbed a tank, but Dennis and Rob hadn't fitted the regulator.
No way. He's got to rig a reg, holding his breath.
I didn't have the strength to change
brutal.
mine over.
Look at this.
He's going to pass out. No, and you can't
I was blacking out.
Yeah, oh man.
Ken just caught me in time.
They'd assumed that we'd have more than enough time to change over to those tanks if we needed them, which in theory we shouldn't have.
Like I said.
You see why you need a buddy?
Except the last one didn't fall.
Wrong.
Wow.
I would not
depleted the
ever
air supply
solo
again.
cave dive. That's
Remember?
I'm not
This
ever
is
doing it.
unbelievable.
Decompression.
3 hours.
Before that, surface, and the bends might kill you. But we didn't have enough air to last. Stop worrying. There'll be a few hours yet. I'll get the beers in.
They have no idea. They're just looking at him.
I've never been on a cave dive that I come out and people are waiting with, on me with beers. Don't worry, I'll get the beers.
I got us into this mess. I had to risk the bends and get help from the
No, stay. He's like, dude, we're gonna die, so I'll take a risk. Sheck Exley literally risked his life. He's like, if I die, that's fine, but you're not gonna die with me.
Back down. Wow, that is. Oh no, he didn't hear. Wow. Gus, this one is incredible.
It's epic, I know.
Yes.
By pure luck, Dennis had a spare tank handy. Otherwise, we'd have probably died in that cave.
I guess he recompressed.
Yeah, he did it so
Swimming back
fast.
down.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was absolutely fascinating.
be off now.
Can I give you a ride?
Oh, it's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Guys, like, nope, not cave diving ever. Thank you very much.
Explained. Why do you do this?
Well,
we hear that
I
all
guess
the
cave diving represents most people's worst nightmares.
A mortician lady?
Claustrophobia, darkness, drowning. But it does fulfill man's basic instinct to explore.
Yeah.
I guess if in another life I'd have gone to the South Pole or walked on the moon. I can't do those things, but I can do this.
I was going to say it
I'll get those
because we
chapters to
can.
you as soon as I can, Tony.
Good man.
Thanks again, Chick.
Hey,
Bye.
he's a cave diver. That's what happens.
Stud.
Total stud. I would have kissed him in the mouth too, I think.
When I realized how close we came, I started thinking about my family, what I wanted to do with my life. And I realized I had to give up deep cave diving. And I think the moonwalk's out of the question. But the thing is, I'm glad I came along. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll call you later.
because he wouldn't have been here.
And remember, say your prayers, wabbit.
I'd love to watch this whole movie, by the way. Like, we only have like a little piece, but I bet the rest of it is pretty awesome. Get the computer back in the day. Died on my birthday, 6th of April.
I mean, there's a lot of messages in this one. I mean, I think
Yeah.
for me, the biggest final reaction that I would take away here is that we really need each other. Even if you are planning, expert, things can happen, and it is so much better to have somebody with you when there's a problem in a cave. I know a lot of people solo cave dive, and I'm going to repeat what I've said in so many videos. I won't ever do that.
Yeah.
There's
Absolutely.
just way better chance of living. So
Open circuit too. Have a buddy. Even if you're solo, certified, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's always better to have someone next to you if you're running into an issue. They'll be able to help you out. So anyway.
Yeah, great one.
Great video.
Wow.
I loved it when I saw it. I knew you were going to like it as well.
Incredible.
Thank you, everyone. If you stuck to the end with us, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. You're helping us grow, and this messages and lessons get out to everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any final words, Woody? What is
Today I
that?
wore my shirt that says
Loving life?
Loving life. So love life. That's my final word.
See you on the next one.